Did you know that Canada, yes, Canada, has an actual strategic reserve of maple syrup? Like the US have oil reserves for national emergencies, Canada has maple syrup. And someone stole $18 million worth of it. Really? Here's something most people don't know. Quebec produces nearly 3/4 of all the maple syrup on Earth. And because maple syrup harvests change every year, good years, bad years, it depends on the weather, the industry created something called the International Strategic Reserve. Think of it like a giant maple syrup savings account. Thousands of barrels are stored in warehouses across rural Quebec. The plan? Tap into the reserves when harvests are bad, stabilize prices, keep the world's pancakes safe. Completely normal. Totally fine. Until it wasn't. In July 2012, an inspector named Michel Gavreau arrived at a warehouse in St. Louis de Blanford, Quebec, to do a standard annual check. He climbed up a stack of 600-pound barrels that should have been absolutely immovable. One almost tipped over. He opened it. Empty. He opened another. Water. Michel had just stumbled onto what would become known as, and I am not making this up, the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. Investigators determined that between October 2011 and August 2012, a crew of thieves had been quietly rolling barrels out of the warehouse, driving them to a remote sugar shack, siphoning out the syrup, refilling the barrels with water, and returning them to the exact same spot on the shelf. For nearly a year. Without anyone noticing. Because the barrels were only inspected once a year. And there were no security cameras. Moving 3,000 tons of maple syrup required more than 100 tractor-trailers. This wasn't some weekend theft. This was a full-scale, multi-month operation involving truck drivers, syrup dealers, sugar shack workers, and at least one insider with warehouse access. They sold the stolen syrup to buyers in Ontario, New Brunswick, and the United States. By the time anyone noticed, most of it had already been eaten. Your Aunt Linda's pancakes? Possibly criminal. Police launched Quebec's largest investigation to date, over 300 interviews, 40 search warrants, and eventually arrested 26 people. The ringleader, Richard Vallières, was sentenced to 8 years in prison and ordered to pay nearly $10 million in fines. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. Over maple syrup. And the story was so unbelievably Canadian that Netflix featured it in their documentary series *Dirty Money*, and Amazon Prime made a full dark comedy series about it called *The Sticky Star. The good news? The reserve still exists. Quebec now stores its liquid gold in a significantly more secure facility with actual cameras and actual locks. The bad news for the thieves? Maple syrup has a paper trail. It turns out you can fingerprint syrup at the molecular level using UV light. 1% contamination, and they can trace it. Canada invented forensic maple syrup analysis. Of course they did.